Hello, EDL 583 students. I wanted to take a couple minutes to walk you through the syllabus and the course schedule so you get a good sense of the course as a whole and different elements of the course that are going to be playing out in the next 16 weeks together. So if you go to modules, you'll find the important course materials module. If you click, you'll find the syllabus there and the course schedule. We'll start with the syllabus. So it'll open up here on the screen, or you can click here to open it up as a document. So I will actually open it as a document and bring that forward on my screen, which makes it a little bit easier. So you'll see here my office. I wish I were in my office, but I'm currently in my home office. My cell phone, this is my office number, and then my email. If you call this number, though, it'll kind of leave me a message because I'm not actually in the office. So the easiest way to get a hold of me is to email me or to set up an appointment to talk one-on-one, which you can click here. It goes directly to my calendar. And then that way we can have a conversation, set up a meeting over Zoom, however we need to do so, or talk on the phone. I do have a Google voice number as well. We are, of course, wholly online with 4 required synchronous sessions. Those are on these dates. Please take note of those and add those in. You'll notice that there's one basically in each module. This is module 2. Module 1, we don't really have a face-to-face or a synchronous session. This is about in the middle of module 3. This was module 4, and this is the final module of the class. That's actually almost the last day of class. You'll see 2 required texts. Please do buy them both. Please do buy the second edition. Note that this book is has been ordered through the bookstore. If you can find it there, you can find it also at Barnes & Noble or at Amazon, and you can go directly to the publisher's homepage and order it from them as well. And then this second book, which we'll be using for intercultural awareness book study later in the semester. Just basic information. I'm not going to go over all of this because I know you can read it and will read it. The more important things are the ones that we'll talk about today. So we are really thinking about comparative education and what it is. Comparative education is a field of inquiry, a field of work. So we are really focused on what is the field, why do we compare, what does it mean to compare, how do we compare across countries, what's the value in that, what are the challenges in that, etc. So we're using different methods of that, learn about different approaches for comparative education throughout the semester. We'll also be looking at education around the world. Makes perfect sense, and you'll be doing some analysis in that comparison too. You'll have the opportunity to pick a global education issue of your own interest, one from 4 major ones that I've selected, and then also later in the semester, one of yours where you'll be looking for research-based articles around that, how other people have studied a topic that's interesting to you in different cultural and country contexts. So just some basic information. Please note that assignments submitted more than 2 days after the deadline will receive a grade of 0. So if you are late, let me know you're going to be late. Let's talk about it ahead of time. If you know that something's going on at work, that it's going to be hard for you to meet a specific deadline, I'd really prefer you to tell me in advance so that we can talk about it. Class participation is required. The course is online, of course, in Canvas and then Zoom. So you are required to attend the Zoom sessions. Technical information, etc. Please note, and I'll say this again here, unless it's posted in the Canvas site differently than when I say it's due on a certain day, it's due by 11:59 p.m. that day. There are times when things are due before we have class at 5 o'clock, and if so, I've outlined that in the module. In general, we're going to have several themes we're discussing: intercultural awareness and reflection with some assignments, increased understanding of global perspectives with assignments, comparative education as a whole, which is where you'll be looking at education in one country specifically, country of your choice, digging deeper into global education, which is those other issues and annotated bibliography around your own research area of interest, etc. So that's information's outlined for you there. Just a note about grades. Please note that there's 270 points for the class, and that's how I calculate your grade for the class. This increased understanding of global Perspectives is basically all the text and multimedia responses you do over the course. So they may or may not add up to 60. So in other words, you need to make sure that if you're looking at the grade book in Canvas, that grade that's listed in Canvas in the grade book is not necessarily the grade you have at that point in time. And if there's a point where you'd like for me to kind of give you a sense of what your grade is for the class, I'll be happy to do so. It just takes a little bit of extra calculation because there may be more than 60 points allocated to those multimedia responses. That's really it for the course syllabus. I'm going to close that out and go back to Canvas. So again, we were in modules. You also can see it in files, but I'll just go back to modules, importing course materials, and here's the course schedule. So as outlined with those different themes, you'll see here on the course schedule the specific modules that we're working on. Again, all items are due by 11:59 p.m. on the day unless they're otherwise stated. So our first module is Global Perspectives in U.S. Education, just kind of getting ourselves familiar. I don't know why this says Blackboard. That is a copy paste from who knows how many years ago. Sorry about that. To the course participants, etc. So your intro survey and some other responses are in there, and there'll be a screen capture explanation of every module. Module 2 is comparative education as a field. So those questions I talked about, why do we compare, how do we compare, and what are some of those foundational theoretical perspectives that we utilize in comparative education that may be very useful to you in your culminating projects or any other capstone projects that you have for your coursework. And then education around the world, we'll be talking about the economic, political, and social context of education and how different those differences in countries impact the education systems, and then you'll be exploring and comparing education in various countries around the world. You'll see here the dates for each module as well as the synchronous sessions that are aligned with those. The major assignments, so not the text and multimedia responses, but the major assignments that you have for class are already outlined on the course schedule with the due date. They will not be due earlier. There have been times when I've moved things later in the semester, so it's shifted a little bit depending on where we are, but they will definitely not be due any earlier than this, so you can go ahead and keep these in mind as far as your dates as well. Intercultural awareness, so with that book study, so more information about all of these things will come in the modules themselves. Global explorations, where you look at those, you get to choose which one of those modules you want to explore, different topics in education around the world, and then you finally finish with your own international research to find information that others have used and have studied, ways that they've studied questions that you have. So that's kind of where we are with the specific details of the course. So again, to find all that information, you go to modules, you go to important course materials, you'll see here the course syllabus, the course schedule, and this screen capture and all the other screen captures that I do will be listed here on this page. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. The easiest thing to do is to use the Ask Your Question forum and post it there, especially if it's a course-specific question that you think others would be helpful for others to hear the same answer. If it's a specific thing, such as you know for sure that one of those synchronous sessions is a problem, hopefully you don't, because those were listed in the class when you signed up for it, but just then go ahead and send me an email, and again, to just be proactive and get ahead of things as much as possible. So I hope you are all doing well in your start to this semester, and I look forward to getting to know you better.